Hey guys, this is Alessandro, welcome back to my channel. So probably in the last few weeks you saw a few shots from one of my private students, posted on LinkedIn. You see the quality, receive a lot of love and a lot of attention, and I'm happy, he's really happy as well. But I want to give you a bit more of a context, because obviously you guys see the final result, which is very good, but you have no idea of the struggle and all the whole process to get to that level, right? And I think I wanted to give you a little bit more visibility on that, and also describe with you and talk to you about it, why it's so important to never give up if you're passionate about something. If you continue to see progress on what you're doing, it's very important to continue to push and be very diligent about this. And I think this case will be a very interesting case to study, because Matt did a really great improvement. Okay, his improvement was really good, especially from the beginning, and I think it's worth talking about it. But first of all, what I want to show you is his demo reel that he showed me when he was applying for my mentorship. And just to give you an idea of what was his level before started to study with me, and how he grew little by little, right? I think it's going to be very inspirational about this. So check this out, guys.
Bernice, you know I'd take you with me if I could.
You can!
Try to understand, baby.
So as soon Matt gave me this, this video and everything, and have a review with him and everything, I was very honest, guys. I'm always have, and I told him, like, look, here is not that good. There's some problem with your posing, with your spacing. The body mechanics don't look very correct to me. And I told them, like, I'm gonna be very honest with you. If you wanna learn with me, you need to forget all of this. We need to go back of the, very basic. Okay, we're gonna start with very simple exercise, and we're gonna go from there, all right? Because I'm not gonna teach you already some advanced body mechanics. I'm not gonna teach you any acting. Those things are too advanced for you. We need to step back, and it doesn't matter that you went to school or you already have a work. Apparently, something went wrong into this step. So I can offer you a fresh start. And if you accept not to study with me, you have to be willing to put as much effort as you can, because I only expect exception from I'm always expecting like great level of quality from all my students, right? And he was very humble. He was willing to to play the game, let's call it like this, and to put the effort and everything it needs to be done to achieve this level. So basically, when we started together, we started with a very simple exercise, only the pelvis and the leg, simple character walking, turning around, and then came to a stop. And the reason why I give him this exercise, because I needed to start to work with something very simple, not a full body, first of all, starting with the basic, like a walk cycle, turning around, shift of weight, and starting from a stop to a walk cycle, and going from a walk cycle to a stop, right? Maybe a few steps backwards or something like that. And another things I told him, like, hey, if you're doing this with me, we are not gonna move to another exercise until this one looks awesome and looks very good, very solid, and very polished. Okay, doesn't matter how long does it take, because I know some school they will let you do an exercise for 3 weeks, and then no matter your result is gonna move to the next one. And I told him, I don't care, I don't like this. I think we need to stick to something until you understand everything and looks really good. And so we did. I probably spent like around 5 weeks on this. And we start with the blocking, we adjusting it. I showed him how it was different from the reference. Then we went to blocking plus, talking about all the weight shift, the spacing, because he had a lot of issues spacing. And we were doing this. It was like very, very humble, in the sense like, oh my God, I'm doing so many mistakes, because the previous schools never teach me about those things. At work, nobody told me about those things, and no, not specifically as you're doing, Alessandro. And now it makes so much sense. And little by little, even doing a lot of mistakes, he get it at the end. He get it, what it means, like a proper spacing, how to come to a stop, the acceleration, the up and down to give way, the weight shift left to right, and then finally how to have a great level of polish, in the sense that I'm working in the graph editor to smooth the movement, but make sure that the weight is still there and things don't start to look too floaty. That it's always like a common mistake. And obviously coming at the very end, doing all the polish on the feet, popping in so there is no pop, stuff like that. And until we managed to finish this exercise, and the level of polish was really good. And he was telling me, Alessandro, I know this was a simple exercise, but I never done something so polished in all my life, and I learned so many things in these 5 weeks that I'm so surprised why the school never teach me those things before. And then obviously we went forward, right? We went to a second exercise. Was this case was pelvis, leg, spine, and head. We did something a bit more dynamic with a bit of jumping up and down, a simple camera movement, and you know, even there. There was a lot to study because it's a struggle a little bit with the arc, with the spacing. Sometimes after a jump and it does anticipation, the character tend to stop very quickly. So again, you know, there was a lot to study even here. But this time, because he learned so much before, he was managed to tackle this shot a little bit faster in 4 weeks rather than 5, right? Assuming that he was always you know, studying with me once a week. Okay, we were having a lesson once a week, so very consistent. And after this, we came to a more difficult shot, right? Because obviously I could feel that he was putting a lot of effort. You know, he was always very diligent, always putting a lot of effort and strength in what he was doing. So I said, Matt, now it's time to do something more challenging, right? Let's do a proper full body mechanics. Let's do a bit of camera motion. Let's study more from a more advanced video reference and stuff like that. And so we started with this, with the exercise that they wanted to see guys on LinkedIn. And I can tell you guys, the struggle here was a lot. It was not as simple. For example, there was at the beginning, the guy was running. He was running straight instead of running more to the right. As soon as he was doing the jump, there was some problem in the poses, the anticipation was not done properly, there was spacing issue and the character was popping. As usual, I tend to be very honest because I said I really want a good level, and when we do blocking, I believe that the blocking should be very solid and good. And I was very harsh, and I said, hey man, this thing is not working, let's redo it together, let me show you how it needs to be done. And I can tell you there was, especially at the beginning where the blocking was not done properly, he was very demotivated, like, oh my god, I spent like 2 weeks doing these things, it's all wrong, I made a mistake everywhere. But the important things that I really appreciated by him is that he never blame on other things, right? He never blame, oh, it's because of the rig, it's because the reference is not good enough, it's because Alessandro, I don't understand you, last time you told me this, now you told me this. No, he will always take your responsibility for his own action, his own mistake. And this is kind of attitude I always admire. You know, it was like, okay, Alessandro, you explained to me very clearly, I will redo one more time, and he will cancel everything or redo it again, and the next time it was better. So for me, this is something I could really see from the beginning, like, okay, this guy may be still learning, but he has the right attitude, okay, he has the right motivation. No matter what, he's willing to cancel everything and start all over just to make it even better, right? It doesn't matter how frustrating it can be. Sometimes, for example, when there is this point where the character starts to jumping, climb, switching on the side, and he does the whole animation, then we are doing the blocking plus more advanced things. He said, you know what, you see here, the character is jumping very little, you know, he has no energy, it's lacking impact and everything when he's jumping, then it doesn't come down, it doesn't feel a lot of weight. We need to adjust this and this, and now this will affect the rest of the blocking plus for half of the animation already done. And again, it requires a lot of adjustment. And he's like, oh, damn it, I didn't see it coming, like, again, but then he will do it one more time. There was a lot of issue with the constraint when you put the hands there, it feels very locked, the hands was overstretching, stuff like that. We have to go through a lot of these things. And I can tell you, there was here like a few moments where like, I don't see the light in the tunnel, like maybe I'm not good enough as an animator about this. But you know, like I was always there obviously to supporting him and say, hey, dude, look the progress that you've done in the last few months compared to the beginning. You're doing a lot of progress, don't be worried about that. Because obviously sometimes you can feel a bit down, you know, about like this, like I'm about to give up and I'm not good enough. But then at the end, it doesn't matter. It was continuing pushing him, right? It was like, hey, continue, focus only on this small section, focus on this other small section, no matter what. And at the end of the day, the blocking plus was solid. We start to do the spline, we start section by section. You know, when I do the spline and polish, I always tell them, hey, focus on this first 50 frames only. Don't worry about what's coming next, don't worry. Let's make super polishes really good. Is a small section here, then when it's good, move to the next one. And obviously we have to fix the spacing, arc and stuff like that, right? And at the end, like, I don't remember how long did it take to do this, maybe it was a couple of months, but the result was amazing. the result was really good, really solid, and the level of polish, quality, camera, everything was really well staged, and he was so proud of it at the end. You know, like Alessandro was like, I'm so happy, because I felt like at some point I was almost to giving up, but you helped me to keep pushing and everything, and the result, it was there, right? And this is something that makes me proud, it makes him proud as well. And obviously then when we do something like this, it's like it doesn't really settle for low expectation, right? This is another thing that I admire about him. It was like, okay, we've done this, now I want to do more. Let's do something more related to pose, more dynamic pose, more something related to combat. I want to use props, stuff like that. And we find this reference, you know, this for these guys using the stick, doing this kind of nice choreography. And I was like, man, this is really challenging. It's gonna be really challenging. Are you up for it? You know, like you already have a lot of challenge with the previous one. This was gonna be more challenging. It's like, yeah, I wanna do it no matter what. But again, here the struggle was a lot, because now we need to push a lot the posing, a really strong line of action, really dynamic movement, really this fast movement with the stick that you want to have, nice silhouette, great arc. It was all about arc and pose and timing this exercise. And it's something was still struggling a little bit, and because definitely those are not things that you can learn in a few times, right? And so sometimes you will do an entire section, like a couple of seconds, it's like, man, this doesn't work, it doesn't look good, because look at the poses are all wrong here. The character doesn't lean forward to have this dynamic pose. It's all kind of stiff with kind of arm, not in a very appealing pose. And it's like, damn it, how come I didn't see this? I should have seen this at this stage and should be better. And again, those things can be very demotivating, you know, especially when you have a mentor like me that I am very harsh. I really want to push for quality. And it can be very demanding. I know I can be very demanding, but I always accept only the best from him, and just my students in general, right? And again, we did the blocking plus, and at the end you realize, hey, you see all the part of action that you've done, it's completely wrong, because the character should come closer to camera, and the you know the step should be faster, and here should be coming down, slow down for the anticipation before the jump. And it's like all mistakes that sometimes it still happen over and over. And again, it can be quite demotivating, especially when you start to use a prop being both arm constrained to a prop. So sometimes you'll have a lot of problem with the elbow, shoulder overstretching, a lot of problem with the rig. The rig wasn't perfect. I know you guys see at the end the final animation, so you have no idea of the struggle behind, but I can tell you, anytime it was moving the prop and everything, some of the joints started to flip in, some of the shoulders started to flip, so there was a lot of counter stuff to do. But again, it was never, his attitude was always positive, in the sense that, okay, I know there is a problem, I'm gonna fix it no matter what, okay? I'm not gonna complain about the rig, things like that, because I told them, like, complaining is not gonna make your animation good. At the end, you're only good as the animation that you put on your demo reel. That's the only thing is matter. And then at the end, it was like, you know, yes, Alessandro, you're right, and he did what he had to do to make it look good. He started to learn how to exaggerate timing, exaggerate some of the poses, even though we have to change stuff from the reference, right? Because I told him, like, I don't want you just to copy the reference and that's it, right? That's not what I'm teaching you. You need to learn how to exaggerate the timing, the poses and stuff like that, the spacing. And again, guys, there was it was a lot of effort, and even here there was a few moments where, especially at the beginning, he couldn't realize how to make very good and appealing pose, and we have to go back and study this from the very beginning. And again, there was a few moments where he felt like quitting. It was like, Alessandro, I've been working this for a few weeks, I don't think like it's getting any better, and we need to do some step back. So there was a lot of moments where, well, not a lot, but there was a few moments where he was almost giving up. But you know, at the end of the day, you know, when we also talk, because we do consulting and stuff like that, even just emotional, not just when it comes to animation, because sometimes you need that kind of support to help you to push forward. He can help you to go through no matter what kind of difficulties, because I think like one of the mistakes a lot of people doing, they are just doing things by themselves, especially when at the beginning, when they're learning animation, they're not very confident. And it's easy to feel very frustrated and feel like you're giving up, because there is no one else next to you giving you a reality check, right? For me, it was like, say, hey Matt, look how you were 6 weeks ago, and look what you're right now. You're improving a lot, actually. So don't feel down about this. You're already improving a lot. It's just about fix this and this and continue. And I was like, oh yeah, actually I realized, now you make me realize it wasn't too bad. Actually, I'm improving over and over. And at the end of the video, that's what I want to talk to you guys about. It's just about having this kind of mentality, you know, no excuses, keep pushing, look for the little improvement that you're doing on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, that can make you feel like even little by little, but you're still improving. And at the end, if you have the right guidance, as you guys can see, it's you can get a great improvement compared, especially if you compare of his demo reel at the beginning. I would say the improvement has been very drastic. He was keep telling me many times, Alessandro, I'm learning so many new things with you, and that I didn't learn from school and everything. I know things were require a lot of effort, my lessons are expensive and stuff like that, but at the end, when you see this result, you think it's only worth it, because now you have like people coming to you already, telling you how great your animation looks, maybe some recruiter, even a recruiter complimenting you, hey, so I saw your progress from the previous reel, looks amazing. And all this recognition, it feels really good, and eventually will guide you to get a job eventually. And I know I'm super confident eventually you will be. And yes, guys, I wanted to share this story with you because I think it could be very inspirational for a lot of people. And in the future, maybe if you like this kind of stuff, I will continue to do the same for other students as well. So I don't know, in general, I feel those kind of things always very interesting to learn and to see how other people grow, and not just to see their demo reel at the very end, because it's like you don't see the struggle, you only see the final result, and you might feel like, oh, this guy, it's, you know, it's talented, it's you know, it's born with this gift or something. It's nothing like this. The guy's like, he struggled a lot, he put a lot of effort, and the key was like, he was never give up. And I think that's the key here if you want to achieve a great level. Okay guys, I hope this was useful. Let me know in the comments. See you next time. Ciao guys.